and a lightsaber forged from the ancient Liberty crystals. Washington was the beacon of hope in the darkness that covered the 13 colonies. And then there was Benjamin Franklin, the Yoda of the Revolution. Wise, cunning, and always a few steps ahead, Franklin's mind was sharper than his lightsaber, which he personally modified to discharge bolts of lightning, perfect for frying any redcoat Sith foolish enough to cross his path. But the colonial Jedi were not without opposition. The redcoat Sith, led by the Dark Lord Cornwallis, had crossed the Atlantic, bringing with them the dark side of taxation without representation. Their red lightsabers blazed like the very flames of oppression, ready to extinguish the light of liberty forever. The battles were fierce, and the stakes higher than the price of tea in Boston Harbor. At Bunker Hill, the colonial Jedi held their ground, their flintlock blasters firing energy bolts that could punch through the toughest redcoat armor. With each pull of the trigger, a burst of light and smoke, a fusion of the old and the new. And who could forget Thomas Jefferson, the Jedi Knight who penned the Declaration of Independence with one hand while wielding his lightsaber with the other? It was he who gave voice to the rebellion, declaring that all men are created equal, with the inalienable right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, or, in this case, the right to take down a few Sith Lords. The final battle came at Yorktown, where the forces of light and dark met in a cataclysmic struggle. Washington and Cornwallis, Jedi and Sith, fought with the full might of the Force behind them. Flintlock blasters cracked through the air like thunder, while lightsabers sliced through the gloom, each swing a testament to the fight for freedom. And when the dust settled, it was the colonial Jedi who stood victorious. Cornwallis defeated, surrendered, and the force of liberty triumphed over tyranny. The Sith were driven back across the sea and a new hope was born, a republic where the force of freedom would reign supreme. But the story does not end there. Knowing that the dark side could rise again, the Founding Fathers in their final moments channeled all their power, their wisdom, and their hope for the future into one single powerful crystal, a crystal of liberty. They knew that one day the force of liberty would need a new champion, someone worthy to wield this ancient power and restore balance when the force of freedom was once again threatened. For generations, the crystal lay hidden, its power waiting for the right moment, the right person to awaken it. And then, one fateful day, it was discovered by a man named Austin Peterson, a libertarian, a modern-day freedom fighter who would fulfill the destiny set in motion centuries before. The crystal called to him, and with it, Austin took up the mantle of the colonial Jedi, determined to bring balance back to the force of liberty in the United States. Through his show, the Wake Up America show, Austin Peterson became the voice of resistance, the spark of rebellion against the creeping darkness of tyranny. With the power of the Founding Fathers' crystal, he fights not with lightsabers or blasters, but with the force of truth, reason, and unwavering dedication to the principles of liberty. So remember, young Padawan, the fight for freedom is never easy, but with courage, unity, and a little bit of force on your side, even the darkest Sith can be vanquished. May the force of freedom be with you, always. In a galaxy not so far away, but a couple of centuries ago, a great struggle unfolded. A time of turmoil, where the force of freedom clashed against the oppressive grip of tyranny. This is the story of the Founding Fathers, the brave Jedi of the colonies, who dared to defy the dark side of the Redcoat Sith. Master George Washington, leader of the colonial Jedi, was no ordinary soldier. With a flintlock blaster in one hand, capable of delivering precise shots with the power of 1,000 musket balls, and a lightsaber forged from the ancient Liberty crystals, Washington was the beacon of hope in the darkness that covered the 13 colonies. And then there was Benjamin Franklin, the Yoda of the Revolution. Wise, cunning, and always a few steps ahead, Franklin's mind was sharper than his lightsaber, which he personally modified to discharge bolts of lightning, perfect for frying any redcoat Sith foolish enough to cross his path. But the colonial Jedi were not without opposition. The redcoat Sith, led by the Dark Lord Cornwallis, had crossed the Atlantic, bringing with them the dark side of taxation without representation. Their red lightsabers blazed like the very flames of oppression, ready to extinguish the light of liberty forever. The battles were fierce, and the stakes higher than the price of tea in Boston Harbor. At Bunker Hill, the colonial Jedi held their ground, their flintlock blasters firing energy bolts that could punch through the toughest redcoat armor. With each pull of the trigger, a burst of light and smoke, a fusion of the old and the new. And who could forget Thomas Jefferson, the Jedi Knight who penned the Declaration of Independence with one hand while wielding his lightsaber with the other? It was he who gave voice to the rebellion, declaring that all men are created equal, with the inalienable right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, or, in this case, the right to take down a few Sith Lords. The final battle came at Yorktown, where the forces of light and dark met in a cataclysmic struggle. Washington and Cornwallis, Jedi and Sith, fought with the full might of the Force behind them. Flintlock blasters cracked through the air like thunder, while lightsabers sliced through the gloom, each swing a testament to the fight for freedom. And when the dust settled, it was the colonial Jedi who stood victorious. Cornwallis defeated, surrendered, and the force of liberty triumphed over tyranny. The Sith were driven back across the sea and a new hope was born, a republic where the force of freedom would reign supreme. But the story does not end there. Knowing that the dark side could rise again, the Founding Fathers in their final moments channeled all their power, their wisdom, and their hope for the future into one single powerful crystal, a crystal of liberty.
Good morning. Rise in freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening. A lot of you are watching and listening to the Wake Up America show on the For Liberty Network. Good morning, everybody. Is Rumble doing me a big favor today? Putting me up on the front page? Nice to meet you. I'm Austin Peterson. I'm the host of this Wake Up America show. It's a live 5-day-a-week talk show, 2 hours in the morning, 7 to 9 a.m. Central Time, and we hope that you'll come join us. You have an absolute blast today, and you'll click that follow button before you leave if you enjoy the content, that is. So let's get to it. Harold Daggett. Who is Harold Daggett? Well, he's a Bentley driver, lives in a $1 million mansion, and is one of those elites that we're always talking about that are trying to destroy our country. Yeah, you probably know who I'm talking about right now. The union boss who threatens to shut down the U.S. economy while we're trying to recover from a hurricane and getting ready for the holiday season. So can we get a big collective round of... Yes, we can. We're going to talk about Harold Daggett this morning, who he is, and I've got an excellent piece from the Wall Street Journal, deep dive into his life, his affairs. He wants to ruin our lives. Well, guess what? We can work on ruining his. What do you say? Two can play that game. I don't play well with extortionists. I felt like my friend Judge Napolitano yesterday was a little too, ivory tower about the whole thing, right? He's like, I don't know if I feel like this sense of moral outrage. I'm like, well, I do. These are people who are sworn enemies of not only the United States, but of economic freedom. Pisses me off. I don't know. How about you? What do you think, man? You don't care? Do you not care? I care. I care. Baby's first Christmas, So for those who are into like the behind the scenes stuff, that little baby sound that you hear is pulled from an old record from the 1960s, and I found it because I was searching for that old song, I'll be watching you like a hawk, boom, boom, ba-da-dum, boom, 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 boom. It's in my love. However that thing goes, then it goes, da, 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 da. You'll hear it. Well, now you're going to hear it. But I found the actual record recording and added in the, because I don't know, babies are cute. I like babies. Don't kill babies. As I promoted in our new promo for the brand new For Liberty Network's Liberty Tonight show. Take a look and a listen and a walk down memory lane. Aren't you excited? Dun, dun, dun. We've got a lot to cover in the news today. 1 million billion clips I was really impressed by. And if I say his name wrong, you're just going to have to forgive me. Hung Cow. Maybe? Hung Chow? I don't know. He's running for Senate in Virginia against Tim Kaine, and I hope he wins. He gave some incredible sound bites on the debate stage last night, the Virginia debate. Take a listen to this.
When you're using a drag queen to recruit for the Navy, that's not the people we want. What we need is alpha males and alpha females who are going to rip out their own guts, eat them, and ask for seconds. Those are young men and women that are going to win wars.
Please.
Okay, true, and not to be too weird about anything, but like, what if the transgender individuals, instead of ripping out their own guts and ate them and asked for seconds, what if they ripped off their own hoo-ha and then ate it and then asked for seconds? I think some of them might. I don't know. I mean, what's the difference between ripping out your own guts and ripping off your genitals? I don't know. This is your first time watching the Wake Up America show, then things are weird here. Okay. Couldn't you tell by the shirt and from the bisexual colors? It's not bisexual. It's just pink and purple because it's synthwave, damn it.
No offense, but it sounds like some fucking commie gobbledygook.
Commie gobbledygook, not here, Norm. No, never.
God! No!
For commie gobbledygook, you need a little bit of this. Hung cow. I mean, if you didn't get bullied growing up on there, American bullies weren't doing their jobs. Remember when we had proper bullies back in the 90s? The last good bully was what? Kevin's older brother from the movie Home Alone. You know what I'm talking about? Where he really just tortured you. Drive you insane, right? And then you had to steal his tarantula. But, there's bad guys and there's good guys out there. We're going to talk about the union boss, Howard Daggett, here in just a couple of minutes. But who are the good guys in the fight against the globalists, against the elites, against the Harold Daggetts of the world? Well, people like Javier Milei. Take a listen.
En cambio, digamos, si
a person who makes money by serving others, making things convenient, better, quality, cheaper, is a hero. A growing society is not going to generate inequality because every time a product is created, every time a need is solved, an individual is going to make money. My sister is a witness. One of the most wonderful things that Elon Musk told me, I get up every day to see what problem I can fix for people. Dude, great. What problem can he fix for people? That's great. Because he is thinking how to solve problems for you. So what does it matter to you if he earns so or so much money? If he makes your life better? If someone makes these glasses 10 times better and cheaper,
mejor y 10 veces más barato, que gane mucha plata.
What do I care if he earns a lot of money? I am much better off. I have better and cheaper glasses, and I have more money to spend on other things. Well, thank you for the economics lesson, Javier. Bam, 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 bam. Yeah, it's the Wake Up America show, and we do this Monday through Friday, 7 to 9. It's now a Liberty Network. And two of our guests that are going to be joining us this morning at 8 a.m. and 8:30 a.m. Central are big-time investors in the For Liberty Network. Camelia Peterson joins us at 8. Talk about a couple of things. Did you hear about this new scandal that's erupted with soon-to-be first gentleman if Donald Trump loses? I don't know. Don't get angry at me. But Doug Emhoff, Kamala's little boo thing, apparently allegedly slapped a woman at an event at the Ritz-Carlton, a girlfriend that he thought was flirting with another man. And it's just funny because Jen Psaki did this whole interview with him the other day where they tried to talk about his affair that he had where he slept with his nanny and got her knocked up from his first marriage, and she's talking about how he's redefining masculinity, and it's kind of like he's got wife guy energy, so they're trying to make him seem like this really soft cuddly guy, and now the story comes out that he may have slapped his ex-girlfriend and then he knocked up his ex-lover while he was married. He's now become an indigenous, a native of the Slapaho tribe. That's related to Elizabeth Warren, except it's actually real. We're going to have a fantastic time this morning on the Wake Up America show. And I love seeing Sidewalk is here. Hey, Side, I saw your shout out on your show, bro. Thanks for that. I'm glad that we can have a friendship all going back all the way from 2018. I got to listen to your segment a little bit this morning, and well done on your show there. Quantum Kitty Kilsharian joining us this morning, looking schmexy, said he totally did. It's crazy how Kamala's house of cards is falling around her. Hurricane Helena is kicking her in the face, too. I've heard people say Hurricane Helena. I've heard them pronounce it differently, but I'm going to pronounce it Helena because that's how I think that name ought to be pronounced, and I think it's prettier than like Helen or like Helene or anything like that. Helena just kind of reminds me of like, the ancient Greek stuff. Blutreich, talking on Doug Emhoff, Kamala's boo thing, says another male feminist that turns out to be a cheater and a beater. You guys are hilarious. If you'd like to send a text to the Wake Up America show and reach out to me directly with questions, inquiries, sometimes people go to the merchandise shop and they buy coffee or shirts and they want to check on their orders. And that's totally legit, too, to hit me up there at 573-319-1586. Again, that's 573-319-1586 is the text line. And you can text me there anytime, night or day. It's not just when the show is live. I use that text line for the For Liberty shop, the merch shop, as well as to stay in contact with all of you about show-related topics. So feel free to hit me up. You see the number at the bottom of the screen, but if you're listening to the audio version later, look, I'm thinking about you too, all right? If you're one of my over-the-road trucker buddies who listens to the Wake Up America show podcast while they're going, and I get emails and text messages sometimes from you guys, and I know you like and appreciate the audio version of this show. I'm speaking directly to you. You can text me anytime at 573-319-1586. I want you guys to know that you're included. It's not just the live people who watch and listen. I know everybody can't listen live, but of course, those who do listen live shall have a place in heaven at the right hand of God. Oh, say. Click that like button. With 371 people, we ought to be able to get at least 100 likes today's show. You think so? I think we can. Rumble is helping me make it happen to launch the For Liberty Network. Without them, I would be not. I got to say thanks to Dylan Abad, Siraj Hashmi, and Chris Pavlovsky over there for fighting for my free speech and the right to earn a living doing this.
The final part of the debate is called the stare down. Each candidate looks in the eyes of the other candidate, and whoever turns away is the chicken. You know the rules. Let's begin. May the best man win. Wow. Why did you give up so easily, Governor? Are you admitting that you are, in fact, a chicken shit?
I come from a middle-class home.
The final part of the debate is called...
I come from a middle-class home. The Wake Up America show is always having a good time on the show. We call it the Silly Shirts but Serious Interview show, so we are going to be talking about some serious subjects too. Daniela Pensac's going to join us live at 8:30 a.m. Central Time. It is Thirsty Thursday after all, and she's got her own brand new show on my network, the For Liberty Network. It's kind of our network. I should be careful about such thing. There's no limit to what you could accomplish if you don't care who gets the credit. Who coined that phrase? Daniela will join us at 8:30 a.m. Central Time to talk about a couple times RFK Jr.'s sexytimes with that Olivia Nuzzi reporter lady now may have moved up a notch in terms of its ferocity with and scale because of the now allegations of potential blackmail involving that reporter's, well, now ex-fiance and RFK Jr. So if there was blackmail involved, this could be something trying to blackmail a presidential candidate. Things get pretty serious when you're talking about things like that, those kinds of crimes. And especially if Donald Trump wins the presidency, I expect there to be not quite Jacobin level, but something French Revolutionary style reign of terror from the Trump campaign.
Come.
It'll all be like this.
Do not come.
I'm going to come.
And reign of terror all over your ass. Listen for the there it is. So Daniela Pensac joins us live at 8:30 a.m. Central Time to talk a little bit about that. Are you guys ready to talk about the union boss and to ruin his life, Harold? Daggett, the union boss, who has vowed to cripple the U.S. economy if ports don't ban automation and raise dock workers' wages sharply, had a Bentley convertible parked outside his sprawling mansion in New Jersey this week. Photos that were taken by drone on Tuesday show the British luxury car with its top down there. He's feeling very comfortable these days. Let me pull up the New York Post piece for you here. You can take a look at some of this nice state. Here we go. The image above shows a Bentley parked in front of his Sparta, New Jersey home. It's very, God, I hate when they do this with the pop-up videos. Pop-up video. There we go. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 car garage. Nice. It's very Tony Soprano. And as you can see right there, the gate apparently opens up into a spa, like a luxury spa here. So the hulking 2-story mansion located on 10 acres in New Jersey. It's about 50 miles west of New York City. Anything within 100 miles of New York City is primo. Unless you're like right across the river from New York City, like that spot from Jersey that's like the armpit of New Jersey. You know where New Jersey itself is the armpit of the United States, but you know how the if you've ever traveled across the George Washington Bridge, or if you've never traveled across the George Washington Bridge, or come out of the Lincoln Tunnel, and you're leaving Manhattan and you're going into New Jersey for a good half an hour to an hour, it's pretty hairy. You think the introduction, you know how the Sopranos, when it starts the show, he's coming out of the tunnel and then he's like looking at all the like, you know, the nuclear power plant, and then there's like, you know, the dirty grocery stores and the streets are filthy. That's real. That's what it's like out there. No offense to my friends who live out in Weehawken or other areas. I'm not necessarily, you know, downgrading it if that's what you love and you like to live in it, but give me a beautiful 5.5 acres in rural Missouri any day, unless you can live like this guy, unless you can live like Harold Daggett. Daggett. In a 2-story mansion on 10 acres out there. He's got a covered outdoor bar, appears to be situated next to what appears to be a massive brick pizza oven. So it's not just like, hey, you know, regular pizza oven, I'm going to go, you know, do a pizza bake. This guy is like, he's got the garlic knots little section. He's got and let me tell you, if you ever had New York pizza, and even New Jersey pizza is actually pretty dang good by Midwest standards. I mean, this guy must be confident in his pizza skills. What I thought was interesting and what people noticed, I think it was my boy King Libertarian from Liberty Tonight. Is anybody else noticing the shape of this pool? Was this deliberate? Side Boob says, I've never been, but Jersey seems like it smells funny. In certain areas, it definitely does. And then there's this weird part of Southwest Jersey where like gets really, really nice. And I'm assuming that's where this guy lives here. 78-year-old guy. He's often seen in public sporting a polo shirt and a chunky gold medallion around his neck, while casting himself as a staunch advocate for blue-collar workers. Also, of course, previously owned a 76-foot yacht. How very nice. Luxe. That's what the rich people in New York call it. They call it Luxe. It's very Luxe. Right? If you're going to open up an e-commerce store, a good brand is just Luxe, like luxurious, right? That's what this guy lives in. But if you haven't heard of Harold Daggett, you absolutely should. He is the head of the International Longshoremen's Association, and they have shut down a good chunk of American commerce by leading their workers on strike and closing East and Gulf Coast ports. Now, I don't know if any of you seen the movie On the Waterfront. I could have been somebody. I could have been a contender, you know, Marlon Brando. He's like a character out of On the Waterfront. He presents himself as a man of the people. He made more than $900,000 last year. In 2017, he owned that 76-foot yacht, rode around in the Bentley luxury car like he's Mark Zuckerberg. And he's no Mark Zuckerberg. Mr. Daggett's union has a stranglehold on the ports And as you can tell, he plans to take that power, saying, I will cripple you, in an interview last month, and he means it. The Justice Department has brought civil and criminal charges against Mr. Daggett for conspiring with mob bosses. There's that Sopranos angle to you there for you. Now, while he won both cases, the ILA's port stranglehold is a racket. Workers earn $39 an hour, often for doing little. That is one reason why U.S. ports rank among the least efficient in the world. Boo! Boo to you, Mr. Daggett. He's demanding $69 an hour, so doubling their pay. In 2010, he said longshoremen should make more than $400,000. Some now do with overtime. Where can we go and join the Longshoremen's Association? Do nothing for $69 an hour. Was $69 an hour deliberate? Now, the big problem is automation, and that actually is one of the reasons why the U.S. port system has fallen behind, is because the Luddites won't allow us to install robots that would replace these workers who don't do much, admittedly, many of them, and take away their jobs. They'd have to go and do something else that's more productive in the economy if they want to make these kinds of wages. They want to do less work for more money. Well, don't we all? Don't we all want to make more money and do less? And it's one thing if you're someone in a profession where you're not constantly putting the knife to the throat of the people who are depend on you, right? You're not constantly threatening the people who depend on you for international trade, for our economy to thrive. But no, this man wants to hold the entire American economy hostage. Meanwhile, the residents of Asheville, North Carolina, are still digging out from the ravages of Hurricane Helena. It's a damn tragedy, and it could even be a crime. The union's contract entitles longshoremen to what is effectively a guaranteed income of tens of thousands of dollars, regardless of whether they work. Some local union chiefs make hundreds of thousands of dollars for doing nothing. Most U.S. workers, no doubt, wish they could get paid for not working. Do you know how ridiculous and inefficient and morally, economically, I think criminally, this is, how wrong this is on damn near every level? We are paralyzed by the parasites of society who, in contributing nothing or very little, and who are easily replaceable, are putting the knives to our throats. Are we going to put up with this? No, absolutely not. It's time for us to have a frank conversation about automation and artificial intelligence. Did you know that AI is taking my job? AI is actually taking a lot of my jobs. It's a damn shame that here on the Wake Up America show, that all of these robots who are in here with me right now have taken the jobs that used to be filled by people. But guess what? I couldn't afford to pay people the wages that are required of me hourly to be able to fill the jobs. So I had to go find artificial intelligence to play the role of an artist to create the thumbnail for the show that you're watching right now. AI taking them artist jobs. You got to be careful if they're an Austrian painter. If you don't let them into art school, bad things can happen. You know what I'm saying? So maybe in that sense, if we had paid the Austrian painter not to work, maybe 600,000 cookies would have never been baked in the oven, as they say. Click the like button if you enjoy this kind of off-color humor. I know that for many of you, today is the very first time that you're watching the Wake Up America show. I hope we will earn your follow underneath the Rumble chat. Our show is part of a triumvirate, if you will. Pompey, Marcus Caesar, or Julius Caesar, and Crassus. Is it Marcus Crassus, or is it Crassus? Or Crassus? Is Crassus, Pompey, and I'm getting my Roman triumvirate mixed up. Crassus, Pompey, and Julius Caesar. Yes, that's the triumvirate, except it's me, the Liberty Tonight Show, guys, and Daniela Pensack for Culturama. 2 brand new shows coming this fall. If you want to hear about them or see them, you can just go to our locals page. It's underneath the Rumble video that you're watching right now. or go to forlibertynetwork.com. That'll take you to the locals page for the new network. And we're super excited about it because it's 3 new shows. We're teaming up. We're building a Liberty network so that we can have more fun and we can stop letting the idiots run the show. Aren't you tired as a Liberty lover? Or maybe you're libertarian curious, or maybe you're a right-wing conservative or a conservatarian or just a Republican who's tired of Republicans' shit, if you know what I mean, right? Aren't you tired of having the worst people represent you? Wouldn't you like to have good, normal Americans? Well, normal. I'm a little weird, but wouldn't you like to have good-hearted Americans out there running a Liberty network and spreading the message of economic freedom and personal liberty, and with a pro-America message? You know, we love Jesus, but we curse a little. Joni Rankin says we're at the top of the live feed this morning. Thank you, Joni, and glad to have you here. Our friends over in the chat are like family. People like Joni Rankin were on a first-name basis. We hung out last year at a canoe trip here in Missouri in the Ozarks because we love the outdoors, and we love seeing all of the beauty and majesty that is nature, unlike what's in New Jersey, where Harold Daggett threatens to destroy the American economy. Now, containerization and automation have reduced port jobs. Good morning, John Rail. Good morning, Clementine. But the unions contracted titles longshoremen to what is effectively a guaranteed income, regardless of whether they work. It is a shame and a tragedy. Look who's locking arms, though, with the Bentley driving proletariat, writes the Wall Street Journal's op-ed section. None other than President Biden, of course. Now is not the time for ocean carriers to refuse to negotiate a fair wage for these essential workers. You can tell it's an election year. While raking in record profits, Mr. Biden said Tuesday, is the 50% wage increase over 6 years that port employers have offered the union not fair? Okay, well, first of all, Mr. Biden, they did get a 50% wage increase as part of the initial agreement. They got it. The union bosses negotiated with the corporations and said, we want a 50% pay raise and we want no automation. And they said, we'll give you the 50% pay raise. And they said no. They don't want the automation. They don't want robots coming in and doing what we have to do in fast food places, because now in Missouri, it's going to be on the ballot. We're going to raise the minimum. I know Missourians are going to vote for it because it's Missourians, for whatever reason, it's a red state, but Missouri votes for Republicans who enact Democratic policies. So people in Missouri are going to vote for on the ballot for a $15 minimum wage, because they will. And then what's going to happen? The companies are going to have to bring in the robots. They have to bring in automation. These are realities. It's kind of like, I saw Nick Fuentes was mad, and the Groypers were mad. They're always mad, but they were really mad at J.D. Vance after the debate the other night, when J.D. Vance admitted that there's not going to be a mass deportation if Donald Trump takes over the president. There's not. There's not. He's telling the truth, which he probably, maybe that's a mistake, because the question is the noble lie. Should you really tell people the truth? Because they'll kill you if you do. You better sugarcoat it, JD. He goes, we need to start with criminals, which, of course, obviously, you have to go after the most violent, dangerous people first. You have to prioritize because you have limited resources. If we had a massive imperialist Chinese communist government here in the United States, we might be able to accomplish a mass deportation such as the one that Donald Trump has prescribed. But J.D. Vance is like, yeah, we're going to have to look at political realities. And Joe Biden is looking at political realities when it comes to dealing with the union workers. He's looking and the another political reality is that if Democrats get reelected next year, you can bet that they will come down hard on those people that they were advocating for, because politicians are like, Gremlins, the movie Gremlins, the Mogwai, and it's like the little cute singing. Politicians are like the Mogwai. Before the election, they're like, la, 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 la. Oh, it's so cute. And then after the election, it's, yeah, 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 yeah. Right, is they don't need you anymore. So it's like, I'm pretty sure somebody memed that before. Welcome to the Wake Up America show, 600 people. It's nice to see you guys. I hope that you don't get politicians wet. RFK Jr. might have a little bit of a problem with that, though.
Do not come. Do not come. I'm going to come.
Says RFK. We'll talk to Danielle about that. Oh, Donald Trump said about the same. American workers should be able to negotiate for better wages, especially since the shipping companies are mostly foreign flag vessels. Well, there's a reason for that, and we're going to talk about it. The reason most ocean carriers are foreign is because union work rules have rendered U.S. shipbuilding and shipping industries uncompetitive globally.
I don't know what's wrong with you young people. You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
Yeah.
You exist in the context
of
all in which you live and what came before you.
And what came for you. Thank you, Kamala Harris. Nice to see everybody in the chat. Nelson's off to work this morning. Quest Fanning says an ad started playing over Austin. Yes, I know that makes you unhappy. However, I want to remind you that Rumble does have a premium tier that you can pay a monthly subscription fee to Rumble to get rid of their advertising. I do it to support Rumble and to support free speech. So just an FYI, that is something that they have. As a matter of fact, I think I have a live read to I can get paid to say that, actually. I'm pretty sure. But actually, my friends over at Public Square wanted me to talk to you a little bit about what they're doing. Have you guys heard about Public Square? So it's part of this this group on the right that in order to oppose cancel culture, we wanted to create a network, an e-commerce network that reflects our conservative, right-wing, Republican, and libertarian free market limited government views, right? So I think I said that twice. But did you know that $7 trillion of GDP voted in alignment with conservative values in 2020? That represents over 100 million Americans who love their country, their freedoms, and they hold fast to the principles that built the greatest nation in the world. America, baby. America.
From now on, it's going to be America first, okay? America
Darn
first.
tootin'. Now, if you're a business owner like me, an investor like me, or a corporate leader like me, and you've got 1.5 employees, then if you care about the future of the American economy, I imagine you are. If you're listening to my show and we're talking about this union boss, then I want to invite you to come learn how to leverage this growing parallel economy market. I'm taking advantage of it. I have a shop over on Public Square. You can actually buy For Liberty Shop merch through Public Square. They're having an event in Orlando, October 10th and 11th. It's the Public Square Business Summit. They're going to have Tony Robbins, Russell Brand, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Donald Trump Jr., Chris Pavlovsky, and many more. The Rumble team is going to be there as one of the main sponsors. Man, I wish I could go if I didn't have a newborn baby, darn it. Tickets are going fast, though. So you want to sign up at publicsquare.com/summit, and you can use the code RUMBLE for 15% off. So publicsquare.com/summit. Again, use the code RUMBLE15 for 15% off. Okay, cool. Yeah, I love Public Square, man. They've done a really good job for my business. And I know I have some e-commerce people who are part of the Wake Up America show's group. So I hope that you guys will definitely check that out. I've got a billion clips. Let's play them. What do you say? Somebody asked me for a t-shirt yesterday over at forlibertyshop.com that was the Tim Walz quote about school shooters, that he said that he was friends with school shooters, and he did correct that later, which, is not going to stop me from exploiting a tragedy, right? Whenever the left says that crisis is an opportunity. So if the left is in a crisis, I'm going to make an opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Somebody asked for him a shirt with that quote on it. Walz's Harry Balls. Tim Walz's quote, "I'm friends with shooters." You can see here in the sort of Looney Tunes fashion. You can get that at forlibertyshop.com and at Public Square. I'm friends with school shooters, Tim Walz. He did clarify that remark, which I thought was interesting. Take a listen.
Do you want to clarify the comments that you made about school shooters?
I've become friends with school shooters.
Yeah, and look, you got to see me. These folks know me. I'm super passionate about this. The question come up about school shooting, we're talking about everything except school shootings. And I sat as a member of Congress with the Sandy Hook parents, and it was a profound movement. David Hogg is a good friend of mine. You have seen me do this. I was talking about being people where there are school shooters, and I need to be more specific on that, but I am passionate about this.
He's so inarticulate. He's kind of like Biden, but dumber. There's like a sling blade there, like, no, I reckon I got no reason to kill nobody, right? He's kind of like 2 steps above sling blade, 1 step above Joe Biden. You know what I'm saying here? That's going to be a heartbeat away from the presidency? I certainly hope not. Amelia McMillan, she's treasurer for Central York School District School Board in PA, claims Biden and Kamala added 196 million new jobs into Pennsylvania. Well, that's fascinating. What is the total population of the United States? What is the total population of Pennsylvania?
The economy, we know, has overwhelmingly been polled as the biggest concern among voters in Pennsylvania. That is something that the former president.
Why do reporters talk like that?
President tends to lead Harris as well as Waltz on. What's your take on that, and what's most important to you as a voter?
So in Pennsylvania, under Trump's presidency, I forget the specific number, but he had added maybe 60 million jobs to Pennsylvania.
What is on her face? Is this a person who's in charge of educating kids?
And if we remove COVID from that as the baseline and we use that 60 million, Biden's administration added like 196. It was more than double what he added. So to me, that's a very stark difference and a very clear line for like 196. It was more than double what he added.
Wait. What? Sorry, I was talking. Hold on.
If we remove COVID from that as the baseline and we use that 60 million, Biden's administration added like 196. It was more than double what he added. So to me, that's a very stark difference and a very
196 million jobs in Pennsylvania? There's 13 million people in Pennsylvania. We'll get you, my pretties, and your 196 million new jobs, too. Hung Kao in Virginia. Hung Kao, wei shadi zhu mao. Ni hao ma. Blue Trike donates $1. Thank you. Says, did you see electionbettingodds.com shows a noticeable bump from the VP? Well, that's good to hear. I'm glad to hear that. And thank you for your $1 donation. I think that makes it $1 donated towards the $60 bonus content goal. Thank you, sir. If we hit $60 raised by the end of the show, which we've done every day, sometimes it's been close, but we've done it every day since we started the bonus content program. It's a way to not watch commercials when I go to get my guests and bring them onto the show. So if you'd like to see our bonus content today, it has to do with the Corey DeAngelis scandal that we've been talking about in the last few days. We talked about it with Camelia on Tuesday, but a little bit more on that story, which you can unlock today by making a Rumble rant donation or a YouTube super chat. And I don't want to say, because I see there's 14 people over on YouTube, and some people they want to watch it over there, and that's perfectly fine. I prefer my Rumble crew, not the people themselves, but I prefer Rumble because they're nicer to us. But somebody made like a $50 donation to me through YouTube super chat the other day, and if it's Joe Spinella or somebody else, I hope you'll come forward and take credit, because I just want to say thanks. I just want to say thanks because I didn't get to, and I hope that you can hear me right now and that you're listening. Every little bit helps. We're not like Tim Pool and we've got millions of viewers. So, this is like a passion project of a small but dedicated group of American patriots who want to make the For Liberty Network happen. But speaking of patriots, let's hear from this Hung Kao character. I played this clip a little bit earlier, but I thought it was fascinating and very well spoken.
When you're using a drag queen to recruit for the Navy, that's not the people we want. What we need is alpha males and alpha females who are going to rip out their own guts, eat them, and ask for seconds. Those are young men and women that are going to win wars.
What's interesting about this view of the military, when you think about it, is that he says, we want alpha males and alpha females to be, the people who are, they'll rip our guts out and stuff like that. It's kind of like, in some ways, he's still kind of a liberal in the sense that he wants women in the military at all, right? It's still so conservatives are always 20 years. Michael Malice has this quote that conservatism is progressivism driving the speed limit, and things like this kind of show you that, because what was probably the 1960s with General Westmoreland and the Vietnam War, when we were having a debate about the draft and things like that. You had women serving in roles of the military for quite some time. in certain roles, and they've taken, more and more a leading role. But there was a time when people didn't think that women deserved, or not deserved, but belonged in the military. And there's still a lot of people who believe that. And it's fascinating now that the market, it used to be don't ask, don't tell, right? If you're gay, you don't ask, don't tell. And if you did tell, then you were kicked out of the military. That was as early as the 90s, as late as the 90s. And then now today, the standard is you could be gay in the military. You can be a woman in the military. You can be out proud, but you can't be trans and be in the military. But you can't be gay and be in the military. So it's gay, but then there's this new minority subculture of the LGBT community. And it's kind of like, how far are you really going to take this? I mean, listen, you can get granular and we could talk about it all day long, what you think, what should be allowed, what shouldn't be allowed. And then there's the argument from their side, which is that, hey, these people are actually willing to serve in the military. Most Americans aren't. So there's that deciding question on there. But I'm curious actually what your thought is on that one, the whole, transgenders in the military. Send me a text at 573-319-1586. Again, 573-319-1586 is the text line. And I'd love to hear your comments on, I believe it's pronounced hung cow. Don't get angry at me for mispronouncing it if I pronounce it phonetically. Here he is again talking about the American dream.
Don't ask for the American dream if you're not willing to debate American laws and embrace the American culture. When Vietnam fell, we had nowhere to go, and America brought us in. And my parents waited in line for 7 years. We all did, for 7 years to get our citizenship. I love this country so much that I wrote a blank check up to and including my life to defend it. We need to protect Americans every single day. Don't ask for the American dream if you're not willing to debate American laws and embrace the American culture. When Vietnam fell, we had nowhere to go, and America brought us in. And my parents waited.
It's a fascinating thing. Don't ask for the American dream if you're not willing to obey American laws and embrace American culture. I agree. Don't come to the United States with your socialism. Don't come to the United States with your Marxism. Don't come to the United States with your leftism. Don't come to the United States with your fascism, your Peronism. Don't come to the United States with your communism. Don't come to the United States with your National Socialism. Don't come to the United States with that shit. This is a free country. We're America, damn it, and we believe in liberty. This is the United States of America. If you're just tuning into the Wake Up America show for the first time, I'm so grateful to have you here. Newbies make me smile. There's 1,513 of us over on X hanging out. You love to see it. Check that out. And there's 688 of us over on Rumble. If you haven't clicked that like button yet, please do so. We'd love to have you join us regularly for our schedule, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 a.m. Central Time is the show time. 15 minutes away from Camelia Peterson joining us. And then Daniela Pensack will be joining us at 8:30. We're going to talk about Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s Sexy Times blackmail scandal. And we're going to talk to Camelia about Doug Emhoff, accused, that's Kamala's boo thing, accused of slapping an ex-girlfriend across the face for, I don't know, embarrassing him at the Ritz-Carlton back a while back. So you don't want to miss those interviews. Make sure that you guys are sticking around with us today and click the follow button before you leave. The brand new show, Liberty Tonight, coming this fall. Now actually 2 weeks from now, on October 17th, Brian Piotr and King Libertarian debut their brand new late night Liberty talk show. Here's a preview. Amazing. And thank you to Terry. He just went and bought some Founding Flavors Electric Elixir, the first sale of our new single-use pods. Hey, congrats, Terry. Thanks very much for that. And that helps to unlock the bonus content. That means $24 raised towards the $60 goal. Nothing to sneeze at, almost halfway there. And we're not living on a prayer. There's so many people watching us live over on X.com. It's redonkulous. So I'd love it if you click that heart button And if you will click the repost so that you guys can come back and join us regularly. Lily Tang Williams, she's a good buddy of mine, so I can do that. She is a Chinese American immigrant. She moved from China to the United States to flee Mao's purges. Her family came to the United States in search of a better life. They came here legally. She has always been a hardcore libertarian. I've known her for years. She is true north. She is a beautiful soul, has a wonderful spirit. She showed David Hogg up at a debate when she asked him about gun control, and she asked him the question, how can you guarantee if you take away my guns, how can you guarantee that the government will not turn tyrannical? And David Hogg says, I can't guarantee that the government won't turn tyrannical. And she says, then the gun debate is over. Oh, yeah. Nice. Mary Tang Williams. I love Lily. She's awesome. She's running against this Democrat lady.
Costs are too high today in the United States, and I have dedicated a huge part of my life to fighting against the big corporate monopolies who are making life harder for hardworking people across this state and across our country. These are big corporations who are big agricultural corporations who are screwing family farmers here in New Hampshire. I grew up down the road from my family's farm, and people are feeling deeply the consequences of what corporate monopolies are doing, both in that space, and that's driving up the price of groceries. That's driving up the price of eggs.
That's the Democrat that she's running against there. Lily for Liberty, running in New Hampshire for Congress, and she is far more American than the swamp monster Democrat that she's running against. I'm looking forward to seeing Lily for Liberty becoming the next congresswoman from New Hampshire. Should women be in Congress? We'd love to hear your thoughts on the news of the day. If you have a story you'd like to share with us, you can do so at 573-319-1586. The text lines are open, and I'm always checking them as much as I can and still run this ding-dang show. It's double standard if a man or an older man can't take TRT testosterone, but a chick can transition and join. I didn't even think about that one. Well, another listener texted in this morning and said, I feel like we should allow anybody who wants to serve in the military who qualifies and has the scores to do so. However, where it gets a little gray is with transgenderism and that sexual dysmorphia or the body dysmorphia these people literally have is a mental illness. Do we want these individuals serving on the front lines for our freedom? It's a great question. Susan Austin from Virginia sent me a message. She says, good morning. She says, can you tell me where you picked up the debate between Hung Kao in Virginia Senate race? What a statement. Susan Austin from Virginia. Good morning, Susan. What a pleasure. Your first time texting us. Where did I pick up the debates? I found that over on x.com. And since I am so awesome, am I not a benevolent man? I am texting you right now with the link to one of the clips that I played this morning. And I hope that you'll enjoy it, Susan Austin. And thank you for texting. I love seeing new people hitting us up. Another listener texting me in about their FOIA request, which I don't know exactly what that is about. I'll have to read that later. Another listener asked about they missed when Liberty Tonight will start and the time. Well, thank you so much for that opportunity to talk about it. It's going to be Thursday, October the 17th from 9 to 11 p.m. So it's a late night talk show, kind of like, David Letterman style. Brian Piotr and Jordan Marinovich, the king of all libertarians, is going to be joining. They'll be working together to produce a 2-hour live talk show. It's going to be fun, funny. They're going to do fake celebrity interviews, and I've already seen some of them. They're hilarious. They've been doing spoofs and parodies. So if you're looking for a little bit late night fun and funny, I hope you'll hang out with the boys from Liberty Tonight. If you want to try and how can I find the Liberty Tonight guys? They have their own Rumble channel, but the easiest way, I think, is just you go to forlibernetwork.com. That's the locals page where the For Liberty hub will be. I've been working arm in arm with the Rumble and locals teams to launch the For Liberty Network on their platform because, oh my gosh, Hold on. I don't know why that preview started to play, but I've been working with the locals and the For Liberty the Rumble people to launch the network. And Daniela Pensack has her own show, Culturama. She'll be with us today at 8:30 to talk about her show. And I've got a preview to play for her show. But the Liberty Tonight guys, I just produced their quick little promo yesterday as kind of like a send up, a parody of the old, remember the old CBS when you would like watch a movie at Thursday night, CBS. Tonight, coming soon to a For Liberty network near you, Brian Piotr. And the fake AI band. You can play the jazz music in the background. Right, the little swing jazz music. You can picture it, right? Liberty Tonight coming this fall. Culturama coming as well with Daniela Pensack. We're going to hear from Camelia Peterson in a little bit less than 10 minutes, but we are almost halfway to the goal of the bonus content unlock, guys. Get them Rumble rants and super chats and what you will in help support the show and grow the network. Just a few days ago, Jen Psaki, sock it to me, baby, said Doug Emhoff, Kamala Harris's boo thing, is reshaping the perception of masculinity. Turns out he may have assaulted his ex, cheated on his wife, definitely, got his nanny pregnant, and said the nanny claimed he caused her to miscarry. Ooh, yikes. Ouch. Yeah.
Important part, or an interesting part of how people have talked about your role here is how your role has reshaped the perception of masculinity. And I'm not sure you planned on that, but you are an incredibly supportive spouse. Has that been an evolution for you? And do you think that's part of the role you...
Has it been an evolution for you to be an incredibly supportive spouse? Not a bad question, actually, Jen. She's got so much plastic surgery done. Have you ever noticed people who have like plastic surgery that they're really tight? Is it a relation to your cesarean husband? All right, the lip filler or the Botox or whatever it is, like I think it's the. Let's see what happens when I pull my face back. So, has it an evolution for you to be a supportive husband instead of cheating on your wife and knocking her up and getting her a nanny? You know what I mean? Like that's what you sound like. You're speaking through cheesecloth here. So, Kamala now won't let me hire a nanny under 250 pounds, says Drew Van Runkle. That's funny. So that's Doug Emhoff. Now the newest scandal: Doug Emhoff may have slapped a woman, and he cheated on his ex-wife. Camelia Peterson is going to talk about that with us live in less than 5. Don't go away because the Wake Up America show's got plenty more content to go. We've all when we unlock the bonus content, you get to watch a little mini documentary instead of the commercials. But the commercials are fun and funny. I produce them myself. Enjoy them. We'll be right back on the Wake Up America show on the For Liberty Network.
By high prices and big government? Don't be a ghost of your former self this Halloween. We've got shirts that'll keep the ghouls and the government off your back. Inflation's scarier than any haunted house, but hey, why not turn it into a costume? Or how about our spooky government shirt? Guaranteed to spook anyone who's afraid of too much power. But if you're feeling real edgy, nothing says Halloween like our Michael Myers No Lives Matter shirt. Cause when it comes to big government, we all get slashed. At forlibertyshop.com, we believe in freedom, not fear. So grab your libertarian Halloween gear before the government takes an extra bite out of your wallet. Or your candy. forlibertyshop.com. Let's make Halloween tax-free.
Hello, this is Barack Obama, and let me tell you why Austin Peterson stinks, and you should never pay attention to anything that he has to say. First of all, he's a libertarian, and we all know libertarians are idiots. They don't realize how important government is to everything that we do. I recently became aware that Austin has opened up a libertarian shop at apforlibertyshop.com. Now, I'm asking you as a personal favor to me that you never ever visit apforlibertyshop.com. With all of the great Liberty merchandise there, the last thing that we need to do is to get people spreading this message around the country, because then they might start thinking that they don't need government. And that's the last thing that good Democrats like us want. So if you love democracy, like me, and hate freedom, then don't visit AP for Liberty Shop. Like I said, whatever you do, do not visit apforlibertyshop.com. I'm Barack Obama, and I approve this message.
I would remind you that extremism in the defense of liberty is no vice.
It is better to settle these matters in the courts than on the streets, and new laws are needed at every level. But law alone cannot make men see right.
Important part, or an interesting part of how people have talked about your role here is how your role has reshaped the perception of masculinity. And I'm not sure you planned on that, but you are an incredibly supportive spouse. Has that been an evolution for you? And do you think that's part of the role you might play as first gentleman?
It's funny, I've started to think a lot about this. I've always been like this. My dad was like this. And to me, it's the...
Then like what? A wife beater? What? Doug Emhoff? These people... I'll tell you. All right, we're going to rant. We're going to have a lot of fun here. Let's just get the promos out of the way. Welcome to the Wake Up America show. I'm your host, Austin Peterson. We're always having an absolute blast here. The regular guests on this show are so much fun. And I've got two of them coming up. One standing, waiting in the wings for me to introduce her. She's the lovely, the delightful, the delicious Camellia Peterson. Let's give her a round of applause. CJ, what's happening?
Good morning. It's spooky season.
Spooky. I really like that that top you're wearing there, Camellia. Nice and spooky.
Probably can't see him very well. I've got like skeleton earrings too.
Yes, that's great. So much fun. I can't wait for Oktoberfest in Herman, Missouri.
Yes.
Where we will drink much German marzipan, yeah?
Wear a little dirndl.
Yes, and maybe hopefully we don't run into any Austrian painters while we're there. There's plenty of those online these days.
Well, none in Missouri though, right? Especially in Herman.
Nah, you got to watch out for the Missouri Nazis, man. They're dangerous. Out in the Ozarks. Oof, just kidding. Camellia, we're glad to have
Democratic Socialists.
Democratic Socialists, yeah, a few, yeah. Like I always say, Missouri votes for Republicans to enact Democratic policies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sad. So tell me this, Doug Emhoff, soy boy or wife beater? I mean, can you be a soy boy and be a wife beater? I mean, because usually a beta male, I would think Kamala Harris would slap Doug Emhoff around. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so I saw a meme just go by yesterday, and I was kicking myself for not saving it, right? So I could send it to you now, because it basically was like, which way, with Doug Emhoff, like, picture of masculinity or like feminist, or whatever. It just was like, and that's the epitome of this, right? Is he the epitome of masculinity and reshaping it now, or is he slapping women around? Which way?
Well, I loved the Babylon Bees. Yeah, their headline. It was like they were the Doug Emhoff wife beater was going to, they decided not to put it in the merch shop, with the Doug
Right.
Emhoff picture on the wife beater. I was just like, oh my God. The Babylon Bee always nails it. So here's the thing, Camellia. Like, I know you're just a sweet little country girl from Southwest Missouri, and you're just now starting to understand the ways of the world as you make your way around the country, shaking hands and knocking doors. But I'll tell you that DC is a nasty place full of violent, dark personalities. And the idea that someone like Doug Emhoff would slap an ex-girlfriend after he cheated on his ex-wife and knocked her up on a nanny. I mean, if the Republican cocaine orgy is on Tuesday, then slap your girlfriend, knock up your nanny is Wednesday in Washington, D.C. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's unfortunate. It's like and I guess that does speak to, well, here's the thing. The question is, we send what we think are good people there. And the question is are they really good people, or do they get there in the middle of all of that power and it corrupts them? Maybe it's the latter. I don't know.
But, on a deeper philosophical level, these people reserve to themselves the type of violence that they would prosecute us for. And,
Yes.
It's not, because here's the thing. If there was so much as a sniff of a rumor, Camellia, that I had slapped my wife, Stephanie, like, do you know how fast Sheriff John Wheeler would show up to my house to confiscate?
Like, for real, and I'd be right behind him. Like,
Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, that's the thing is that, like, but these people, they reserve to themselves the ability to do that violence because they're above the law, right? They're above the rest of us, right? And they want to.
And I do think too that, I think inside all of us is the capability of that evil, right? But it is a matter of our character and what we practice and choose to be as people. And I think the problem is in a place like DC's, not only is it like, the seat of power in the country, and so there is a propensity towards this, but it's also like it's normalized and it's encouraged. So it really brings that out in people that you might not think it would be there at all, because it becomes the expectation in a lot of ways in order to fit in.
What do you get wife guy energy vibes from Doug Emhoff? Because I could see a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde kind of a thing from a dude like this.
Sure. I think that's partly because, I think it's an internal conflict in his nature, going against what the expectations are of, that side of things with being, a feminist man. By the way, what'd you call it? A wife? What?
So Jen Psaki, when in referring to Doug Emhoff, she's trying to kind of give him a makeover because they all know each other, these people, so they know what their past is. So they're trying to make him appear as if he is supplicant to his wife Kamala and supports her, and so they say that he has wife guy energy, and part of this is the emasculation of the American male. I mean, Doug Emhoff and Tim Walz, I think, and this was a meme going around for a while, they really are the kind of the epitome of like the stupid white guys in commercials ads, right? Yeah. And I think Tim Walz probably is that stupid white guy in commercial, the stereotype of what they're talking about. But I think Doug Emhoff, at least from what it sounds like with his past behavior, and then with the rumor, if it's true, that he slapped his ex-girlfriend at the Ritz-Carlton for disrespecting him like a mafia don or a mob boss or something like that, if that is true, then I mean, really what they're just doing is they're covering up the dark side of this man in order, of course, to protect Kamala Harris, right?
Yeah, I mean, he clearly has some latent aggression going on there, and frustrations probably that are coming out. Here's the thing, though. When you think about the idea of having a woman vice president or a woman president, And as much as we talk, in our segments about the masculinity movement and, just the biological nature of men and women and the roles that naturally flow out of that, like, there's no option. Like, what does it look like for a man to be the second husband or whatever,
he's second gentleman,
right? Like, what does that really look like? I mean, because
it looks like
has
this.
to be this like subservient, supportive.
Can I carry your
purse?
purse?
Right, because that's always like when you talk about the first lady, it's not that it's subservient or anything like that, but they are in a supporting role. They're not the main character, so they play a supporting role. And when you are asking a man to play a supporting role, like that just like that goes against the natural in a lot of ways.
Right. I believe in carrying your wife's purse physically, but not metaphorically, right? Like the thing, the left wants you. The left is only comfortable with the concept of white guys like Walz or Emhoff as those stereotypes that they create that we see all the time in our television and commercials. It's always this stupid white guy, and there's a whole Twitter account set up for it. And if someone like Doug Emhoff needs a total makeover, they can get it. And I'll tell you this, conditioning people is actually much easier than you might expect. It's easy. It's interesting how if you really are a pro at brainwashing, MK Ultra kind of stuff, mass propaganda, it doesn't take long for a catchphrase, for example, to spread. And you'll see this a lot of times when you watch leftist media. Sometimes you'll even see videos where they actually say the exact same thing in like an entire newscast. But have you noticed this where the left will they get on message right away, and it's kind of like, how do they do it so fast? It's like they really are kind of like, let's turn on all the leftist brains to this today, right? If you've seen the meme of them replacing the chip. Yeah, and Vance is weird. Yeah, Vance is weird. That was one perfect example, Camelia. This is why you're on twice a week. Expand.
Well, I mean, no, I agree. And that is, it's effective, right? But I also think that is just kind of part of, when you talk about the difference, let's just talk about the difference between the two parties. Like if we're going to talk about Republican versus Democrat, like obviously there's fringe elements in each, but there is a difference in how the two operate, in that the Democratic Party is much more groupthink. Although we have seen some examples lately of people who have been in the Democratic Party who are not going along with groupthink. But I think part of the struggle, on the Republican side of things that, hampers us sometimes is that groupthink is not necessarily the norm, and why it's hard to get people together, because we do have a lot of independent thinking people. It's not always right, but that's sort of more normal on the right than it is on the left. So it's like herding cats sometimes on the right, but on the left, like it is the culture of, the party, of the ideology, that collectivist nature to come together and all get on the same page.
I completely agree. Camelia Peterson joining us live here on the Wake Up America show. We got a nice big audience today, and I'm very grateful for that. If you're enjoying the content, you should come back and join us when Camelia is on, and every day. But Camelia joins us on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 a.m. Central Time. It's her regular guest spot, and it will always be reserved for Camelia and no one but Camelia.
Thanks.
We always have a lot of fun on the show together talking about this or that, but one topic that I thought was very interesting was Ana Kasparian of the Young Turks. Now, here's a little fun bit of trivia for you. But back when I first got into politics, I would get invited frequently to go do debates on college campuses. And one debate that I participated in, it's on YouTube. I still had all my beautiful brown hair. I look so handsome. At Arizona State University, I debated Ana Kasparian when she was like in the throes of left liberalism. But,
oh, really?
Yeah, it's an interesting debate. It was a conservative versus a liberal versus a libertarian debate. And it was a lot of fun. And I remember, I think I schooled her a couple of times on things. I'm sure I was very smug and smarmy about it. But is she maybe perhaps I planted some seeds. I'm always thinking of when I do those debates like that, or when I spoke to an economics class in California yesterday, actually, I always think I'm planting seeds for the future. And then one day, hopefully the fruit will grow on the tree. And perhaps after being so thoroughly decimated by my superior ideology and debate skills at Arizona State University a dozen years ago, Ana Kasparian is now just now starting to become based and red-pilled? ? I give myself all the credit.
Of course. So I didn't know a whole lot about her. I mean, I was familiar with her, but I was looking at a little bit, and I noticed that one of the things in her background is that I can't remember what it was, but she wrote in Bernie Sanders. And so she's been a Bernie Sanders kind of person, right? And it does seem to be there is sometimes like a Bernie Sanders to libertarian pipeline.
Sometimes, yes.
Sometimes. But like I know Spike Cohen has talked about going to like Bernie Sanders rallies and talking with people there, because you can talk to them, right? They're generally open to other ideas. Even if they don't end up agreeing with you, they'll at least have that conversation. But yeah, I think
the Bernie Sanders to left libertarian pipeline. Yes.
That's probably right. That's it. And that's it, because, when you talk about Ana Kasparian, she's not, like, the things that she has been talking about are things that protect kids, right? Like, she's going after that one senator.
They're calling her right winger because she's wanting to protect children with legislation. She wants to make. She was going after this. Do you know this story about this California? I believe he's a state senator who does all the gay pride parades, and he's like wearing kink out in public. And
I didn't know that's who he was.
Okay, yeah, it's this guy. He's kind of creepy and sleazy, and he's been blocking legislation to make child trafficking a felony versus a misdemeanor, which it is now. And so she slapped him down. I think it's one of these three in the spreadsheet that you and I are both in right now. It says, she says. Okay, so he says, Senator Scott, oh God, his name had to be Wiener.
Yes.
It had to be Wiener. Oh my God, it's Wiener. Oh God. Okay, so hold on. I've got the tweet. Let me pull it up right now. Whoosh, with our famous new transition. So Senator Scott Wiener, California, anyone talking about the housing crisis without calling what it is, a shortage caused in significant part by extreme overregulation, isn't serious about actually ending the crisis. So he's out there advocating for, socialism like they do. Ana Kasparian, aren't you too busy blocking legislation to reclassify child trafficking as a felony instead of a misdemeanor to give a damn about the housing crisis? You're a sick you-know-what. Damn. Whoa.
How dare you?
Oh, yeah. No, she said after blocking the bill several times, he supported a watered-down version that makes trafficking of 16 to 17-year-olds a misdemeanor. He's worried about the rapists and the traffickers having their lives ruined by being listed in the sex offender registry. He also lied about non-traffickers getting swept up when they're not trafficking. It's amazing, too, because they don't have the same care about false allegations made at frat boys on college campuses. Then we have to believe all women. Right. But when it's a gay rapist or of children, then it's a protected class. And then all of a sudden they're not pedophiles. They are minor attracted persons.
And women don't matter then. Right.
And then women doesn't matter.
The opinions of women do not matter at that point.
Extrapolate, Camellia.
Well, I use this double standard that we see in feminist culture, and that includes the men, like, what's his name, Wiener, that,
Wiener, how do you Wiener?
That are, I mean, they're perverted, right? They're perverts.
Oh yeah, and he's gonna do a perp walk one day. They're gonna find something, and you just people like that
Absolutely.
Is where there's smoke, there's fire. They're gonna find a live. What's the politicians don't want to get caught with a live. A dead hooker or a live boy, is that what it is? But for him, it's a dead hooker boy. It's coming.
I mean, that's the thing. They, what they go out and they say is kind of like the Doug Emhoff thing is like they say, we're here to support women and, women need to be in leadership and believe all women. But at the same time, when women say things that don't fit, the narrative, then all of a sudden, their opinions don't matter anymore. That's just like, on the issue of abortion, right? It's a woman's body, my choice. And, how dare you as a man have an opinion on abortion? But yet when, a conservative woman has an opinion on abortion, our opinions are somehow less or they don't matter.
Right.
But,
I'm a woman. I identify as a woman right now for 10 seconds. Here's my opinion on abortion. Now I identify as a man. Isn't that how that works? Right. That's how this works.
Your opinion at that point would matter even more than mine.
Exactly. I'm the more protected class, but only for as long as I identify as such. And then, did you see the video I played yesterday? Just a side note of the man who he made it his mission to go and ask transgender people on TikTok the gender of their animal. Is your cat a boy or a girl? And then when they say the gender, be like, how do you know? Did you see that video? I played it yesterday, and she's like,
a tiny snippet of it. I didn't see the whole thing.
Okay, because she it's so funny because she pauses for like a long pregnant pause, and it's just like and then she goes, because of her parts. It's like how could I know you always want to be the reasonable person, Camellia, but how do you there's an old quote I'm going to bastardize it here. It's like how do you it's Thomas Paine. He says trying to administer logic to those who have renounced it is like trying to administer medicine to the dead
people. Yeah. Right. I mean, at some point I remember a former woman, Speaker of the House in Missouri, did a podcast. And one of the things she talked about as far as in hindsight, looking back at, mistakes she made or not, is she said that she spent too much time trying to persuade the unpersuadable. And I am probably guilty of that sometimes, right? And it's a hard
You are the queen of that. You are the queen of that. But you know what? You're like me in my early days and the zeal that I had for liberty and my naivete. I was having a really good conversation with an old college friend about that. He thought that he could solve the socioeconomic problems between two races, and that in this relationship that he would engender between them and solving the racial difficulties, that he could thereby end the animus that this group had toward him. And he was naive because he was exploited and taken advantage of and harassed and put into situations that affected and harmed his mental health and physical welfare. So at some level, it's really just war, right? What can you have against barbarians but war? Other than that, I don't love that that the National Socialists of the Austrian painter fame, went out and took boys and girls and forced them into service and uniform and are trying to kill me with a gun. They're these brainwashed morons are trying to kill me with a gun. And we're speaking metaphorically, of course, high metaphor, but in this scenario, what we're talking about, this battle, this cultural battle with the left, it's nothing less than total war, is it not?
It is, right. And there are red lines, right? There are red lines that can't be crossed. And I think that's why I think we need all different kinds of people in a cultural war like this, because you need the people who are doing what you are doing. You also need the people who are maybe more on my end of things, who maybe can still reach, right, who maybe can still reach the people who are not, haven't drank the Kool-Aid quite yet. Like they're adjacent, they're sympathetic to it, but they're not like fully into where they're just, blind to everything else yet. And I think we need all of those things in order to actually succeed, because you have to have something left to build from, right? So yeah, there are definitely, hard red lines that, you can't cross and you can't reason with.
Good job, Camellia. You've managed to sound reasonable, and I always appreciate that about you. And I think, in person, in real life, I mean, I'm an online pugilist for sure, and I can be quite testy and spicy in person, as you know. But I do, of course, convey a much more diplomatic air towards people in person, because I think the fight for liberty deserves it. It deserves a good representative and a good messenger. And sometimes people meet me and they think, oh, Austin, you're so different from online. Well, I'm not playing a character. This is just me dialed up to 11. And Camelia, get a cup. If whenever there's a couple of beers in me, I get to this level, right? And then it's like really seriously goofy and wild and weird. But that's the AP that you only see like 2 or 3 times a year. But coming soon, Oktoberfest. But Camelia, I'm glad that our friendship has blossomed such as it has. It's such an interesting story. I ran for Senate in 2018, and you took your attitude. You were undergoing this kind of spiritual and political revolution in your mind as you came out of the woods, or out of Plato's cave, perhaps, and you saw the world with new eyes, as it were. And you came into contact. Go ahead.
As Thomas Paine said, the mind once enlightened cannot again become dark.
There we go. That's right. Once you've seen the reality outside of the cave and you see the real world, you see things for what they are, it's very difficult to put that cap back in the bottle. I have seen people, though, Camelia. I've seen people blue pill themselves. I've seen people who have you seen The Matrix, Camelia?
Yes.
There is a scene in The Matrix where one is a betrayer of humanity to the machines, and he is talking about what is real and what is not real, and he's hoping to get plugged back into the Matrix to be blue pilled, and he doesn't want to remember anything. He doesn't want to fight, because the struggle, the problem of the truth and the reality is that there are certain harsh realities that I think most people would much rather sweep under the rug and not pay attention to. But also, of course, I was going to say, Camelia, in your zeal, in the early days of our friendship, in your zeal to find out why I went from a anti-Trump libertarian candidate to now a Republican, I would say somewhat Trumpy Republican Senate candidate in 2018, our friendship blossomed. And of course, you became a regular guest on my radio show, and now a regular guest on this show. And you've become a political activist, I would say an empowered, perhaps even use the word powerful political activist here in the state of Missouri. People listen to you, and you're sort of known around the state, and now you're crisscrossing the United States, knocking doors. So your insight into political affairs, it's not just, some random person joining us on the Wake Up America shows on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Since we have such a large audience, I just want people to understand the caliber of the guests that I work to bring on, whether they be wild or wacky or weird, whether they be strippers, whether they be diplomats or ambassadors. The people that I choose on here, I choose very strategically. And I can't say enough nice things about Camelia. Since we've run out of time, Camelia, and I'm done praising you.
It is already, right? Thank you. That's very nice.
Yes. And since I've spent so much time praising you, I think that this is a perfect time to encourage people to follow your work online at Rare Camelia, and anywhere else.
No, Twitter is really, X is my favorite platform. I'm on Instagram. I'm much more boring on Instagram, much more spicy on Twitter, although I don't think I'm that spicy, but it sure seems to upset a lot of people sometimes.
Yes, you do. You upset people.
But no, would love to have you over there. And it has been like, our friendship has been a huge blessing for me, by the way. I have learned a lot from Austin. And I've always said to you that I think that, maybe losing your elections was the best thing that could have happened for you. Because while I would love to see you, people with the right principles and gifted at articulating the ideas of liberty in those legislative positions, I also think you are very gifted at teaching people and doing so with a good sense of humor that makes it understandable and relatable. And so I'm so happy that you have this platform now to do it. So anyway, there's my words of affirmation for you today.
I feel pretty, oh so pretty. Yeah.
Because you remember that like a couple of years ago, I had to make a New Year's resolution to be nice to Austin.
You did. Well, and it's funny too. Part of my inspiration for saying all this to people and sort of revealing a little bit of our personal relationship is because I was so mean to you the other day when I was like rating you on a scale of 10, and I was just goofing. Like, we joke around and I don't mean any of it. It's just teasing. And so I think I called you like a Missouri 6 and a New York 4 or something like that, which is, could be seen as rude. And I did call you and apologize. And
I was like, what are you talking about?
I know, because, well, some people would take that the wrong way. And I don't ever want there to be a misunderstanding because, Camellia, we've got a great relationship. So follow Camellia at Rare Camellia. And Camellia, thanks for all you do for the show.
Yeah. Have a great day, everyone. See you Tuesday.
Thanks. See you Tuesday. Liberty Tonight coming this October the 17th. That's right. Liberty Tonight can only be seen on the 4 Liberty Network at 4libertynetwork.com. So make sure that you're following our locals page there at 4libertynetwork.com. And you guys are going to get to watch Liberty Tonight. And our next guest is the host of Culturama, Daniela Pensack. Daniela is going to be joining us live in less than 5. We're going to talk to her about a couple of stories about your digital privacy online and another story that I sent to her, and I can't find it because my thing froze up and I can't read the story. So we've got incredible stories. We've raised $44 towards the $60 goal. What that means is bonus content is not yet unlocked. I hope that we don't fail to do it. We've just got to raise like another $17 or so ish. And then you unlock the bonus content for the day. And then I'm like, phew, I get to go home proud, tell my wife, honey, we can feed the baby today. On the Wake Up America show on the 4 Liberty Network. We'll be right back.
Are you tired of the strange radioactive effects of leftist culture? Do you ever wonder what happened to good old-fashioned American values? Well, fear no more, because there's a new force fighting back against the cultural rot of today. Introducing Culturama, a right-of-center talk show that's taking back the future today. Hosted by none other than blonde bombshell herself, Daniela Pensack. She's not just talking, she's taking culture back. With sharp takes, brilliant guests, and a few surprises along the way. Tune in to the live video podcast twice a week, because the future doesn't have to be weird. It can be Culturama.
If there wasn't going to be somebody who was a fiery champion of liberty, somebody who would get out there and who would be aggressive, and if they wouldn't do it with more fire or passion than I had, then I would go and I would fight this battle for us. I've fought for the principles that we all share. Parties tend to be secondary to me. We're here because we believe in the principles of liberty. I am not a perfect messenger, but I think I'm a damn good one. This is a replica of our first president's flintlock pistol. You have my full support, my respect, and my gun.
I think that the heart of my philosophy is much more libertarianism than well, that's the fashionable word these days, I guess. A conservative is no longer just that. He's a libertarian and always has been.
Yet any time you and I question the schemes of the do-gooders, we're denounced as being against their humanitarian goals. They say we're always against things, we're never for anything.
is fascism? Fascism is private ownership, private enterprise, but total government control and regulation.
Well, the trouble with our liberal friends is not that they're ignorant. It's just that they know so much that isn't so. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth. This is the issue of this election. Whether we believe in our capacity for self-government or whether we abandon the American Revolution and confess that a little intellectual elite in a far distant capital can plan our lives for us better than we can plan them ourselves.
The conservative, so-called, is the one that says less government, get off my back, get out of my pocket, and let me have more control of my own destiny.
Do you hate the deep state? Do you reject the Antichrist in all his ways? Do you believe that aliens controlled LBJ to assassinate John F. Kennedy? Did you know that the shot can put chemicals in you that will make you more sensitive to 5G? Do you love America? Do you want more freedom? Do you like smoking hot red-headed libertarians? Then the AP for Liberty shop is for you! Check out all the awesome new merch and have a happy new year! Fight the deep state, reject the Antichrist. Visit AP for Liberty shop and get your patriotic merchandise now, or the deep state wins.
There it is, Liberty Tonight. I'm getting so excited for the Wake Up America show's new For Liberty Network shows. That was a quick little promo for the upcoming show. It's a Tonight Show style program, podcast, live show, coming this Thursday, October the 17th. Liberty Tonight. You can find it at forlibertynetwork.com. My next guest has her own show. It's all her, just like I'm going to do it. So you know she's mega talented. The host of Culturama joining us live, Daniela Pensack, for her regular appearance on the Wake Up America show. Daniela, welcome to the program. It's nice to see you this morning.
Thank you for having me, Austin. And yes, I am so excited to be having Culturama. It will be launching on the 15th, and I hope to see everyone there who's watching today.
Daniela, we're going to get more into Culturama a little bit later, and I'm really excited to have you share with the audience some of your ideas for the show. But first up, let's hit the news. We've got a pretty big audience today, so let's serve them appropriately here. I'm reading this news story, and it makes perfect sense. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., there is women involved. He's a Kennedy. You kind of assume that a little bit of sexytimes might be going on, even though he's married to a very powerful Hollywood actress, Cheryl Hines. Most people know her from Curb Your Enthusiasm. Rumors of infidelity lead to rumors of divorce, et cetera, et cetera. We don't know. But there's a new angle to this story that makes it a little bit more, well, perhaps even criminal. I'm hoping you might be able to sort of set the stage for our audience here and give us this update on this news story.
Yeah, so the news story is supposedly that Cheryl Hines is planning to divorce RFK Jr. because he was cheating on her with a journalist from New York Magazine. Her name is Olivia Nuzzi, I believe. They were having like some FaceTime chat sex on their phone But actually, what seems to be the real reason, according to some sources, is that Cheryl wants to leave RFK Jr. because recently he has been rubbing shoulders with Donald J. Trump, and she
Oh.
has found herself suspended in the MAGA universe. She is a lifelong Democrat. All of her friends say that she's a lifelong staunch Democrat, and that the fact that RFK Jr. is now rubbing shoulders with Donald Trump is upsetting her quite a bit. But yes, she's walked into this marriage fully expecting, I'm sure, fully expecting him to cheat. You know, a Kennedy cheating on his wife is more news at 11, right? It's going to rain in
Yes.
Seattle today. Wow, shocking. But I don't think any of us are really fooled that that's the reason. Even some of her friends have said, or the speculation is that she was kind of expecting him to do this. It's a Kennedy thing. But the fact that he is now, endorsing, supporting Donald J. Trump is a different story. That is certainly something that she's not been expecting, and probably is fueling her to leave this relationship and this marriage.
Yeah, the Trump angle on this one, I think, is the bigger one. I think you really have nailed it down here because, yeah, Kennedy having an affair, not news, but
Right.
Kennedy endorsing a Republican, and especially one like Donald Trump, that is news because Cheryl Hines finds herself in a situation where she wants to stay ingratiated in Hollywood circles, but her husband is making it difficult. So if she leaves him, yeah, I don't think it's about the affairs. It's probably about Donald Trump. But now there's a new angle to this one that might have to involve the Department of Justice here because I'm hearing words like blackmail being thrown around in the media,
Right.
and I'm curious about what's this new angle on the story.
Yeah, so Olivia Nuzzi, the journalist that has been cheating with RFK, uh, her ex, she had a fiance, who's also a journalist for Politico, I believe. But his name is Ryan. I believe it's Ryan Luzzy is his last name, if I'm not mistaken. You can correct
Ruz,
me if I'm
yeah.
wrong.
No, it's okay. It's
Lizzo.
so
Right. Well, anyway,
Olivia Nuzzi is the reporter who was obsessed and had this kind of weird fatal
right.
attraction style attachment to Robert F. Kennedy Jr. trying to sleep
Was
with him. They
obsessed
never,
with him. Yeah.
right, she's obsessed with him, and they never did, fornicate. And then now we have the ex jilted lover playing an angle on this story. There's always a twist. There's always a twist. So what are the allegations that are being made about blackmail?
Well, apparently he was going to reveal some of the information that she was cheating on with RFK Jr. and was trying to kind of throw her under the bus and ruin her reputation in the public light. And so this has been going on for quite some time, and it just came out. And obviously she had to break up the relationship for this. But because of this, these alleged events happening, Politico has temporarily suspended him from even being involved with them and for working with them. And similarly, Olivia has taken a leave from work as well because of this. So it kind of blew up their entire relationship. And both of their reputations are now completely ruined by this. And it is true that she didn't physically actually fornicate with RFK Jr., but you're right, Austin. She has had this weird obsessive relationship with him going for quite some time. I believe he's even tried to block her a few times, RFK Jr. did, and she just kept going at it. And I guess, being a Kennedy, his willpower isn't that strong.
If we could all be healthy like Robert, like the Kennedy family is, in that way, we would all, this nation, we wouldn't have to worry about population collapse if everyone were
Right.
as prolific as the as the Kennedys were, right? Daniela, how do you feel about this story? How does it strike you as important, or is it just a sideshow?
I think it is important when we question about what Cheryl is doing here and what her actual intentions are. It's really easy to throw the story as this just being an issue of cheating. It's a Kennedy. He's cheating on his wife. Of course, she's going to leave him. But obviously, I think there is a bigger story to be said here about why she's leaving him. And you mentioned it earlier, Austin. I think you're right. It is her connection to Hollywood, and that she is afraid that perhaps him rubbing shoulders with Donald J. Trump is ruining her reputation with even an extended universe like Hollywood. So initially I was figuring that she's just taking a personal affront to this, and that, he's with Donald Trump. She's a lifelong Democrat. It really offends her. But there is a bigger story to be said here, that this could be breaking some professional ties. And again, this is a story we're all very much familiar with. If you're a Republican, you can't make it big in Hollywood or other large industries or large scale industries, which is obviously fairly unfortunate, and she's not doing the industry or herself any favors. But it really just shows the corrupt nature of Hollywood and of other large-scale industries, that even if you affiliate with, you know, Trump people or Trump himself, it's going to ruin your reputation, and that's you know, that's uncalled for.
This is why I bring Daniela on, and I'm so grateful that she's being on the West Coast, gets up so early to join us all here on the Wake Up America show. So I think we owe her a like. Click like and subscribe, if you will. Speaking of clicking like and subscribe, it is 8:44 Central Time, Daniela. So we'll run out of time if we don't go ahead and transition. I don't think we're going to have time for the Telegram topic because I'd rather be selfish. I'd rather be selfish and talk to you a little bit about Culturama. We even yesterday, because you're going to have your own merchandise line. Yesterday, we actually dropped your very first product, a beautiful new Culturama mug, which I will pull up on the screen here in just a moment. But you're going to have like your own line of products at forlibertyshop.com. I mean, you got to be getting really excited about that. I don't know about you, but for me, merch is like one of the most fun parts of the whole process. What do you think about it?
Oh no, I'm absolutely excited. I did see the mug. It's beautiful. And even though my show did not officially launch yet, I still encourage people to go look at it and perhaps even buy the mug if you're interested. But it is gorgeous, and I am very excited to put more products on there. I'm brainstorming some ideas. Obviously, I'm gonna have more. I'm gonna have way more ideas, but it's gonna be great. I'm gonna fill the entire merch store with a lot of things that normies can buy and nerds alike. It's going to be great.
Yeah. So it's a, retro radioactive 1950s style themed show. Think Fallout, but anti-communist instead of anti-capitalist.
Yeah, exactly.
Frickity's donated $5, money for the For Liberty Network and the Bay Bay. Thank you very much. I'm hoping that people go over to rumble.com/Culturama, because, while you're here, and just go ahead and follow the channel there, and you can watch the preview. I've got that as well. You can see the new show coming up. I actually have to end the show a little bit early, Daniela. So because we've got more shows coming in. This is a very busy studio. So I was hoping just you could tell people when Culturama will air and how they can watch it.
Yeah, so Culturama will be starting October 15th, and it's going to be every Tuesday and Thursday from 5 to 7 p.m. PST. That's my time. I believe that is 7 to 9 your time, Central Time, Austin.
Correct.
And I'm going to be talking about a lot of things: politics, American culture, even some global news at times. But the main idea is to talk about the changing American culture and how politics affects it, and how good people like you and me and people watching can affect the American culture and the political culture. So I'm going to be touching on a lot of issues. I'm going to be talking on things that I feel like we can't normally talk about on, major platforms that I would like to touch on. So I'm excited to have it launch and see where it takes me. And
love it, Daniela. I think it's going to take you to the moon. I think that you're going to be a big star, and I'm so grateful to be a part of it and help your rise. So Daniela, we'll follow you over on X at Pensac Daniela, and of course, subscribe to your Rumble channel at Culturama. But if they're looking for all of the For Liberty Network's content, it's easy, forlibertynetwork.com. Thanks, Daniela. You have a wonderful day, and we'll see you
too,
next Thursday. Let's give Daniela a round of applause. Isn't she great? I got to run. They're breaking down the studio. We got people coming in here, and I'm so grateful for all of your time and support. You guys unlocked the bonus content. You did it. Thank you. Cecilia, you're amazing. Yes, we've got a lot more cool merch other than just mugs. Cecilia, don't worry, coming for Culturama, and I know you're going to love the products that we produce for it. I got to run. It's been an amazing show. You guys are amazing. Today we had a huge audience. I'm so grateful. If you don't like Rumble's ads, just remember they do have Rumble Premium that you can subscribe to. It's a sponsorship for Rumble. It's incredibly important to the survival of Rumble. When they first started in 2013, they built this platform for small creators like me. Facebook caved to pressure from the Biden-Harris administration, but Rumble did not. And they did not censor me. They've helped the Wake Up America show community grow. They're offering $10 off of their monthly subscription if you use the promo code STUDIO when you purchase an annual subscription. Go to Rumble. rumble.com/premium and use promo code STUDIO to get that $10 discount. I use it. I'm a subscribing member to Rumble to help them survive, and I'm so grateful for everyone who has been a part of it. Go to rumble.com/premium. Use that promo code STUDIO. Thank you very much, guys. We'll see you here tomorrow. Enjoy the bonus content as we say goodbye of the Wake Up America show on the 4 Liberty Network. Freedom Family Friday coming tomorrow.
Today's bonus content and keeping the Wake Up America bonus content and keeping the Wake Up America show on the air. Let's look at how the firing of school choice advocate Corey DeAngelis is classic cancel culture. In today's video, we delve into the recent firing of Corey DeAngelis, a prominent education researcher and staunch advocate for school choice. His dismissal by the American Federation for Children, AFC, has raised eyebrows and sparked debate over cancel culture and its implications. Corey DeAngelis, who frequently engages in heated debates on social media with proponents of traditional education, found himself at odds with some allies. This followed revelations of his past involvement in a pornographic film aimed at gay audiences. The controversy ignited when the conservative platform Current Revolt highlighted DeAngelis's past. Subsequently, several conservative groups withdrew invitations for him to speak, leading to his termination by AFC. Though DeAngelis opted not to comment directly on the situation, he expressed his views on social media. He acknowledged past mistakes and emphasized his continued commitment to advocating for parental rights and school choice. DeAngelis describes himself as a victim of poor decisions and influences in the past. He emphasizes using those experiences as motivation to protect young people and support parental rights in education. His firing is perceived by many as a classic example of cancel culture, where individuals face repercussions for past actions unrelated to their current roles. Critics argue this is a concerning trend, particularly when institutions claim to oppose such practices yet partake in them. Interestingly, the progressive left accuses DeAngelis of hypocrisy, despite a lack of evidence substantiating claims of him being an anti-LGBTQ+ activist. This narrative has been promulgated by outlets like The Advocate and Pink News. These media outlets suggest a conflict between DeAngelis's previous work and his current political stance, likening him to figures caught in scandals. However, no concrete evidence supports their claims against him. Some critics assert that supporting educational options like charters and vouchers signals anti-LGBTQ sentiments, an unfounded and illogical stance. DeAngelis's associations with groups like Moms for Liberty and PragerU are cited in these accusations. While these groups dispute the anti-gay label, their controversial statements about sexuality in schools have fueled debate. School choice advocates wonder if such associations might hinder their cause. Despite accusations, DeAngelis's work fundamentally aims to empower families in choosing the best educational paths for their children. The goal of school choice isn't to dictate a universal curriculum, but to offer diverse educational options. The core idea is to allow individual schools the freedom to design curriculums and compete for students who resonate with their educational philosophies. This approach could foster environments that are affirming and progressive. Conservatives who once collaborated with DeAngelis are now reconsidering their stance due to the controversy. Yet his past decisions shouldn't overshadow his contributions to expanding educational freedoms. In conclusion, DeAngelis's past involvement in the adult film industry over a decade ago bears no relevance to his current advocacy for educational choice. The ongoing debate highlights the complexities surrounding cancel culture and freedom of expression.
Are you tired of the strange radioactive effects of leftist culture? Do you ever wonder what happened to good old-fashioned American values? Well, fear no more, because there's a new force fighting back against the cultural rot of today. Introducing Culturama, a right-of-center talk show that's taking back the future today. Hosted by none other than blonde bombshell herself, Daniela Pensack. She's not just talking, she's taking culture back. With sharp takes, brilliant guests, and a few surprises along the way. Tune in to the live video podcast twice a week, because the future doesn't have to be weird. It can be Culturama.
If there wasn't
2 years ago, we started this journey together, bringing you the Wake Up America show every morning. I couldn't have done it without my incredible wife, Steffi, who's always by my side, and now our beautiful baby, Hazel, who's already getting used to studio life, waiting patiently during Freedom Family Fridays. But what truly makes this show special is you. Your donations, your purchases from forlibertyshop.com. You're not just supporters, you're family. Together we've built something amazing, and we're just getting started. Thank you for being a part of our family. Here's to many more years of Wake Up America.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message. Believe me, Austin Peterson is the best. He's got the greatest Wake Up America show I've ever seen. Whenever I tune in the mornings and watch the live stream, let me tell you, he has got the absolute best content. I love his guests. It's just a total blast to watch, and I highly endorse and recommend the Wake Up America show. It's terrific, believe me.
Is the outdoor of your home about as exciting as a library? Then spice it up and unbore your space with our custom metal signs. Crafted with love and a bit of libertarian magic, you can customize your own metal sign at ap4libertyshop.com. So head to ap4libertyshop.com, customize your own metal sign today.
Welcome to a world of vocal discovery at Peterson Voice Studio. I'm Justin Peterson, here to guide your musical journey. Envision a place where your voice reaches new heights, where every note tells a story. We embrace all singers, from the enthusiastic shower vocalists to aspiring stars, ensuring each voice finds its unique rhythm and tone. Are you ready to elevate your voice? Visit petersonvoicestudio.com and sign up for remote lessons tailored just for you. Let's begin this melodious journey together.
Tired of spending your hard-earned money on woke corporations that don't share your pro-freedom values? Fed up with sipping liberal lattes and progressive cappuccinos? Introducing Founding Flavors from AP for Liberty Shop. Get your day started with Washington's Revolutionary Roast. As robust and principled as the man himself, this blend is the shot of energy heard round the world. Or maybe you want to taste the fervor of freedom with Adams's Patriotic Perk. It's as dynamic and balanced as the U.S. Constitution, sure to awaken your spirit of liberty. For the aficionados, we've got the Jeffersonian Java, a complex mix of flavors that speaks volumes about your refined tastes. And don't forget Betsy's Liberty Lullaby, our decaf option, crafted with the same care and dedication Betsy Ross put into our Star-Spangled Banner. This blend lets you enjoy the taste of freedom anytime without losing sleep. No woke beans here, folks. Just pure, patriotic, pro-freedom flavors brewed with love for liberty. So why compromise your principles for a cup of coffee? Stand up for your values, perk up your patriotism, and start your day the American way. Get your Founding Flavors at ap4libertyshop.com.